All right, Voldemort, it is another week here on this channel, and two political bros. We have a new president here, President Biden. He's officially all settled in, replacing now former President Donald Trump, and with that comes the return of the what I like to say the disgraced owner of the New York Jets, Woody Johnson. He's been overseas the last 4 years as Trump's ambassador, and I thought that was going to be good news for the Jets. They were going to get things done. He wouldn't get his dirty paws and everything. And oh god, the Jets were terrible these last 4 years.
He, well,
Um,
well, he was busy overseas. He had no time to improve the roster.
he just did such a terrible, terrible job these last like decade or whatever he's owned the Jets, and now it's just sort of like, all right, can he fix what his brother screwed up? Because it was really bad what Christopher Johnson did. He let a lot of good young defensive and offensive players go, and I don't know what's really going to happen. The Jets have a big wild card because, like we've discussed, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to go number one to the Jacksonville Jaguars, unless if Urban Meyer really wants Justin Field. But he shouldn't. Which means the Jets could then draft Justin Field or some other quarterback, but if they're not too keen on that and they don't want to use that pick on a running back or something like that, they can flip that pick for now Deshaun Watson of the Texans, who's a bit disgruntled. And apparently, I believe he has a new trade clause, which like really helps it out. But apparently, one of the top teams on his list is the New York Jets, which I believe is because of the Jets' recent hire of Coach Saleh, of the 40, who used to be the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, which he's very well respected for what he's done with the 49ers. So that could lead a trade for Watson to come to the Jets, but apparently Matt Stafford of the Lions is looking out at Detroit, so that could be a thing. Philip Rivers, who's been on the Chargers the last like 15 years, went to the Colts last year, and now he's retiring, so now the Colts have an opening. The Steelers are losing their center, Pouncey, so Big Ben might follow and retire as well. So
which
the
would
Steelers could have a hole.
which would
Although
be
the
happy for the Yinzers in Pittsburgh.
yeah, it's sort of there's a lot of like carousel going on now. Rodgers is like unhappy in Green Bay because of who they picked in the this past draft in the first round.
Hence, pissed off Aaron Rodgers all year.
Yeah, and apparently didn't help that it was 3rd and 8, or 3rd and goal on the 8-yard line with 2 minutes to go. Uh, Rogers apparently got the okay to call his own play, thinking he was going to get it again on 4th down just in case. And then the head coach was like, no, let's kick the field goal, being down by 8 points. And that did not sit on Rogers very well. That did not sit well on basically anybody watching the game. Um, and then the pass interference later on in the game, that apparently the refs weren't calling a lot of things throughout the entire game, but decided to call it on that one, which would have made the Buccaneers punt and give Rodgers the ball back with like a minute to go, but that didn't happen. So uh, we're stuck in a lot of limbo right now in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, although can we talk about the Super Bowl for a bit and how the fact that considering both of us had the what you call it
I had the Packers and the Bills going
yeah,
to
and
the Super
I had the
Bowl.
Packers and the Bills too, so we jinxed
Yeah,
those teams.
yeah. I
So
mean, those are my two picks, like midway through the season. Um, but both teams had lost. The Bills seemed to live and die by Josh Allen, and he did not have a very good game. He had an okay game, I guess, but it is not what we've been used to seeing these last like 10 games. So uh,
you,
that was not very good. The Packers decided to. I think they got like 3 turnovers on like 3 interceptions off Brady. They only managed 6 points off that. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers got like 14 points on turnovers. So that was like the big difference, and also the call right at the end of the half. Um, but that's besides the point. But Brady is now entering his 10th championship at the Super Bowl, and the only other player in the last 30 years to be in 10 championships is in the NBA of LeBron James. So both of those guys, I think, are the best players in their sports ever. I think it's just a fact.
At least,
you want to fight me on Michael Jordan versus LeBron? I'll fight you on that.
Well, they're the best in the modern.
Yeah.
That's up there with, as I said, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Derek Jeter, all that type of being always in their championships.
So what makes this interesting is Brady's been with Belichick for all these years, and everyone was like, "Oh, Belichick's the greatest head coach ever, winning 6 Super Bowls." But it was is it Belichick or is it Brady? Because Belichick sort of runs his own thing. He doesn't like being told what to do. And Brady came over to the Bucs this year, and they're in the Super Bowl, and Belichick didn't even make the playoffs. I don't even think they had a winning record. I don't even remember if it was.
No, they did not.
So, say what you want. Brady's the best. Father Time hit him a little bit in the middle of the season, but he didn't even have that good of a game yesterday. As of recording today, Monday. But he did enough, and it's just something about Brady that just brings everybody else around him to be better, and the other teams to be worse.
Father Time?
I don't know, but it's just something about Brady. But he's going to go up against defending Super Bowl hero Patrick Mahomes, who's now going to be, if he wins this Super Bowl here, I will say Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Russell Wilson had a big drop-off towards the end of the season.
After this season, I wouldn't have considered Russell Wilson to be the best.
I mean, he started off really, really well, he was still the best quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is still very, very good. This is some of the best quarterbacking we've seen these last 15, 20 years. We've had guys Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers. We've had some really good guys as the game sort of evolved. Drew Brees.
And Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck for the few years he was there. We've had some really good quarterbacks. And to have some of these guys be so long on these teams only to switch over towards the end of their career. Phillip Rivers couldn't win it with the Colts, but we saw Peyton Manning win it with the Broncos. We might see Brady go and win it with the Buccaneers right now.
Well, we said that this year was the Super Bowl was going to be the passing of the torch. The last 2 decades of the super quarterbacks that could carry the whole team versus the new generation of quarterbacks that are jack of all trades type of guys.
Yep.
That seem to be the new breed. And what better way to pass the torch than the best guy of the past decade, Tom Brady, against the best quarterback.
The most expensive.
Yeah, the most expensive player in pro sports right now, which is Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
So this is going to be an exciting Super Bowl. I guess we'll wait for our predictions until next week because we have
because the Super Bowl's not for another 2 weeks. But in the meantime, what they will have is a virtual version of the NFL Pro Bowl.
Ooh, are they playing it on the N64?
Oh, I don't even know. And what's interesting about this is that they're doing this on Madden 21, which is not cross-platform. So someone's going to have to agree to... They've got 8 guys playing. They've got who do they have? They have Marshawn Lynch coming to play, Snoop Dogg, the rapper. They have NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace coming to play for whatever reason.
I think these guys can all afford the same console, even if they don't have it at the moment.
Yeah, but it's a matter of maybe some guys are more better on the PlayStation or more used to the Xbox. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I assume they're all just going to use Xbox. I think that's sort of the default because Xbox is basically the superior system. Although now that might be, we're now two console bros.
No, it's you're the two consoles fighting for supremacy. I'm the Nintendo Switch just doing its own thing and succeeding more than those two in certain places.
But yeah, no. So I didn't like the Pro Bowl to begin with, and now we're getting this virtual garbage.
The Pro Bowl is the stupidest All-Star game in all of them. In all the other major sports that it's in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them they like with the baseball's All-Star game in the past that it actually mattered for things later on. You also had stuff like the slam dunk contest, the home run derby, the shoot-off. The Pro Bowl has nothing, and it doesn't mean anything. It's a consolation.
The NFL is so big on the NFL Combine for all the college guys making it to the pros, but they don't even do that during the weekend there, which I think they should. Why not have a little combine to show off some skill sets? Yeah,
baseball's doing that by moving the draft to the All-Star break. So to have both of those events happen at the same time when all the eyes of the sports world are on them.
Yeah.
So why not?
Am I really gonna watch it? Probably not. I don't even really watch the NBA skills the NHL skills competition. I only really care about who hits the puck the hardest. And
if you can keep track of it.
Yeah. So
at least a baseball, you're like, okay, I see where the guys look. It's in that direction.
Yep. So,
I did a
with the NHL, if you get the stupid glow puck thing back, which I know my dad's totally a fan of.
Hold on, can we just say I did a visual gag for an audio podcast just now? I pointed with my arm in the direction. I'm like, wait a minute, we have no camera.
That's right. The other day I was talking to my aunt on the phone, not video, just on speakerphone, and I waved goodbye.
Oh, God. Get us out of this quarantine. Get us out of this lockdown.
Yep. So the NFL is just the Pro Bowls. They should just retire it. It should be done at this point. Just make it an honorary thing and be like, all right, you're an honorary Pro Bowl guy, whatever.
Yeah. Have it be like a bonus award.
Yeah.
Not like you don't play
the NBA has that where it's like, all right, NBA all team, all NBA second all team. Just do that with football at this point because it's such a joke at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the NFL right now. The Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. Who you want to see, I guess that's up to you. I like Andy Reid. I think he's a great head coach. I love Bruce Arians. I think he's a great coach. Do I want to see Brady win a 7th Super Bowl? No. Do I want to see Bruce Arians get a Super Bowl as a head coach? Yes. Because he was the offensive coordinator for the Steelers and did one hell of a job. And the Steelers have been missing offensive coordinators since he's left. Yeah, I'm a little torn. I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but everything I seem to pick is just wrong when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to the playoffs.
See, I'm thinking that Captain Brady's going to have one last ride with the Buccaneers. Chief Mahomes.
Well, he has a 2-year deal, so he still has next year to do it.
Yeah, but Chief Mahomes, he's still young. He has time for Kansas City to dominate. Let's give the legendary quarterbacks one last ride this year because I have a feeling that this was the last hurrah, especially with Drew Brees retiring, Phillip Rivers retiring, most
Big
likely
Ben might be gone.
Big Ben, but we only really have Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady left, and Tom Brady, you don't know how much longer you're going to get of it at 43. This is uncharted territory for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's not. He's getting into Nolan Ryan sort of territory.
Yeah, it's going to get to the point where he has to retire because he's physically too slow and fat to play the game.
Then again, don't mess with TB12.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so segue
into something. Baseball, because a lot of things have actually been happening the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
First of all, let's get this out of the way. Over the on Friday. Legendary home run hitter Hank Aaron passed away at the ripe old age of 86. He is a guy who leaves humongous shoes to both the color barrier and just his legendary status as a ball player. Many consider him the true home run king, considering that Bonds and McGuire are tainted by steroids. So
Yeah, I was looking at some highlights of his, and he is not as big as I thought he was.
no, he is not. He's not,
I was like, wait, he's the home run king? What?
big things come in small packages.
Yeah. It's crazy.
755 home runs, super consistent over his career world champion with the Milwaukee Braves, and got so against the New York Yankees. And there was a funny story that came out that he almost became a New York Giant. The Giants offered him a contract, but it was $50 poorer than the Braves. So we came within $50 of having both Hank Aaron and Willie Mays on the same team.
Oh, God.
And they're saying that could they have won more World Series with the Giants? Could the Giants have been so good that they did not move to San Francisco when the Dodgers were shopping for a partner? Or would they maybe have moved to Minnesota instead like they almost did?
Yeah, I don't know. What would have happened with the Mets then?
Yeah. The Mets might have instead been where the Giants are. And the Giants might have... You might have had the two New York teams right across the river, as it should have been.
Yeah.
As it should always have been. But speaking of the New York Yankees, they've actually been very active last week. Some in good ways, some in okay ways.
Yes, some of it, like, it makes sense and then it doesn't. So I guess let's talk about the trade with the not the Padres, the Pirates.
Pirates, which we kind of knew coming from before in December when there were talks that the Yankees were trying to get a trade involved that saw them acquire Jameson Taillon, the Pirates' injured ace, and Josh Bell, their switch hitting first baseman. Well, Bell went to Washington, but the Yankees circled back and put up 4 players to get Jameson Taillon, who will be most likely their last starting pitching acquisition for this season. Taillon, a former teammate of Garrett Cole's, was a phenomenal pitcher, but unfortunately in 2019 ran into arm trouble and then had to go into the night for Tommy John surgery, so has not pitched since.
This is his second Tommy John surgery, I
yes,
believe.
Yes, he was drafted with pre-existing Tommy John surgery. But when he's healthy, 2018, 3.20 ERA, 179 strikeouts, and 191 innings. This is another strikeout thrower with great command. 117 walks in 466 career innings. So, and home run ball might be a little concerning. Gave up 20 home runs in 2018, but this is a guy who can if he can keep the ball down, he'll have success. And the Yankees didn't really pay that much to go with them. High upside players, but only Miguel Yajure, I probably butchered that horrendously, was in the big leagues last year. The other guys, Rancy Contreras, Michael Escoto, and Kanan Smith, which is the easiest of these 4 names to pronounce, are not really top prospects for the Yankees. I think the highest, Yajure at 15 is the highest in the Yankee system. But also, as it said, this most likely bars the door shut for Masahiro Tanaka, who has been mulling a return to Japan, but also the Padres have been kicking around tires, and I'd imagine whoever loses on the Trevor Bauer sweepstakes might quickly circle back to him. But we'll get to that.
Actually, speaking of that Trevor Bauer sweepstakes, he's been calling up fans to get their different pitches. And oof, I saw one for the Dodgers. It was like the most embarrassing pitch I've ever seen. But props to Trevor Bauer for like trying to keep him on topic. But whoever that mom was, she did not do a very good job. She was just like, yeah, you could come here to win, and yeah, we've got Kershaw and these other guys, and you can come here and win. I was like, that's your pitch? Like, you need to do better than that.
Speaking about Bauer, though, or do you want to save that for later and get your thoughts on Untitled?
I mean, we're already talking about Bauer, so
yeah.
I guess we could finish that real quick and then circle back.
Yeah, that there's actually been increased chatter as of late that since the Mets lost out on George Springer, who signed with the Blue Jays, they've become a lot more focused on Bauer, and it's believed to be between them and either the Dodgers or the Angels. There are conflicting reports on which Los Angeles team is in and which Los Angeles team is out.
Yeah.
And there was a brief report that the Twins were in the race, which surprised me, and then it turned out that was a misnomer, and they were not in at all.
Yeah.
So it's either the Mets or one of the LA teams.
Well, speaking of LA and Bauer, we mentioned, I guess, Cole. Well, I guess Cole sort of factors in with Talon, as they were former Pirate teammates. The Angels have fired their their equipment manager guy because of apparently investigation over some sticky stuff, which apparently I'm guessing Bauer used it because of his spin rate got that high this past year.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but it just sort of been bothering me these last couple weeks as like this story's sort of unfolded, and even Cole's just like, I have no comment on this right now. Sort of like, why have the Angels been so bad if their own equipment manager was the one giving the sticky stuff to everybody else? Was he giving it to everybody but the Angels? I know they've had injuries, but like, come on, like, at this point, give it to these guys.
Yeah, so the story was that he basically helped concoct some sort of rosin substance, I believe it was.
Some sort of weird concoction.
Yeah, to help with grip, and it seems primarily grip in the spring when it's still cold and players are still trying to find feel of the ball, and so this guy's been fired and said that you can't do this, and he's turned around and filed a lawsuit saying that actually not only have I been doing this, I've been giving I think he said 70% of the league he said is doing this or something similar, and named some guys including Bauer.
Yeah, Bauer. I think he said Scherzer, Verlander, basically every pitcher.
Yeah, basically anyone who is everyone, and. I can get what you're feeling. I mean, it's not a coincidence that baseball has started focusing a lot on the sabermetrics and the spin rate, especially with pitchers. And we know what happened with the sabermetrics being a thing with what happened to the Astros in 2017, and how replay and stuff was used. Good intentions were used for disastrous and malicious. Intent, but
which actually hurt a lot of baseball players this past year when they banned looking at footage after at bats and whatnot. You saw that with guys like JD Martinez, where he just couldn't make any adjustments in game. Which honestly, I think it's in game. I don't think you should be allowed to look at footage.
No, you shouldn't.
That should be an after the game sort of thing.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if the league pays hush money to make this go away. If it goes to trial. If we have witnesses like the Mitchell report, but it's early days in this yet, so I'm not going to be worried. It'll be I'd only talk about it if we see some pitchers suddenly do really terrible, and they're like, wait a minute, these are guys that were named in this. But I doubt it. A lot of these guys are good even before all this, so I will do this. But
back to Talion, I guess.
Yeah, Taillon, and then
So good trade, bad trade.
Excellent trade for the Yankees. That this is a guy that he's only paid. We forgot to tell you that he's only getting paid because of the injury. He's only $2.5 million this year. $2.5 million for someone who, realistically, I could see 160, 150 innings that could give you quality innings. And I said this when we talked about Kluber last week, that the Yankees are trying to get two pitchers for the price of one Tanaka, and in Kluber and Tyone, they seem to have succeeded. That even if they get half of their performance, that can still work out on the long run. Remember in 2019, that one stretch in the middle of the summer when every starting pitcher for the Yankees was posting a 6-7 run start during that one series against the Twins. That they can substitute quality with quantity and get some quality back in it. This is work. Plus, they didn't have to touch any of Clint Frazier or Esteban Florio, any of their good prospects.
Yep, and what's his name? Andujar's still available.
Yeah, Andujar.
Use him as bait. But you know who they don't have anymore? Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, this was a surprise that.
I understand why they did it, because he was commanding $8 million for this year, and they're trying to get under that luxury tax of $210 million to reset, because no fans in the stadiums, and that's sort of like the Yankees make a lot of their money from all their dedicated fans.
Yeah.
But the trade, he had a bit of a down year, but I mean, shortened season.
And it's also related to one particular outing against the Blue Jays where he gave up 6 runs without an out.
Yeah.
Without that, his ERA would have been 2.95 instead of 5.97.
Yeah. So big difference there. But what kills me is they sent him to the Red Sox. Like, first of all, I thought the Red Sox were trying to shed money. I guess they're done shedding money.
Well, they are, but it's not as strict a mandate as it seems the Yankees are under. The Red Sox, they're trying, but if the right opportunity presents themselves, they'll dip over and try again next year when more.
Ottavino, other than I think one hiccup back in 2018 or something, whatever it was. He's been a very consistent pitcher, getting low 3s, 2 ERAs. I think in 2019 for the Yankees, he had a 1.6 ERA or something crazy.
1.90 in there with 88 strikeouts. I guess probably the reason you could see it is that that he gave up.
Bunch of walks.
Yeah, bunch of walks in a short span. He righted the ship in a bit, but just that one stretch was rather alarming.
Yeah, he had that one stretch, and I was like, oh man, maybe he isn't the pitcher we were getting from Colorado. But
and if I remember,
I liked Ottavino. I liked it. I liked right before he came over to the Yankees, he was like, I'd strike out Babe Ruth, and honestly, I think he probably would, because I think we've had this conversation before.
Yeah,
better athlete.
Yep, better athletes in this day. That's why when you were talking about the best quarterback earlier, I was saying of this era, because it's hard to compare then with now.
Yeah, because it wasn't as pass heavy.
Yeah, with what
back when.
Yeah, the games are just evolved different.
Yep.
Speaking of evolution, there's been a lot of chatter in the last few days actually on the rules of play for 2021, and there's been some misconstruction I felt that they're saying that they're negotiating on this, they're negotiating that. No one's negotiating with anyone. That the owners are trying to get the players to negotiate, but with all the bad blood between the union and the team, they're listening, but they're saying we're not receptive to these offers at the moment. So right now, what's been going on? Not the players. These have been rebuffing the owners on the universal DH and expanded playoffs again. With mainly because they feel like they're not getting a lot from the teams. One, because there are very few teams that require a dedicated DH like a Nelson Cruz or JD Martinez anymore. They mostly use it as a rest spot. And two, that they would get a slight boost of players from expanded playoffs, but $50,000 or I think $25 million on top of the $50 million. That's a pittance compared to the money that the league gets. Plus, there's the question of whether opening more slots will incentivize or disincentivize teams from paying more to get into those extra spots. Jury's out on that. But not just on that. Today it actually came out that the Cactus League, which is the spring training grounds for the West Coast teams and Cleveland for some reason, has informed Major League Baseball that they desire a delay to the start of spring training, citing that I can't pronounce these names today. Maricopa County in Arizona. It has one of the has a high infection rate, one of the higher ones in the country right now. But the league said in a statement back that said, we do not have the authority unilaterally to postpone spring training. And the players' union fired back and said, yes, you don't have the authority. That's negotiated, and we're insisting on a full season. But it also should be noted that the Cactus League's position also is undercut by other sports, such as the Arizona Coyotes, who play in Glendale, not Palmdale, excuse me. They all, and I think also they have one of the not just the Coyotes, but another team that's playing from California, because they can't play in their hometown, or I could be wrong about that. I'm shooting on the hip of that. I just remember that with the 49ers having to play in Arizona. But regardless, the fact that the NHL is not only playing, they're playing with fans in there. Yeah. The fact that they're doing that kind of undercuts the argument a bit that the Cactus League is looking for in a delay of spring training. Also, especially since Florida, they're already saying that February 1st, for some teams, their season ticket holders will get first picks for small bubble groups in the Grapefruit League before opening up to general. So Grapefruit League is having it. Cactus League, between that and the Coyotes, it's kind of looking like they're trying to do not the commissioner's bidding, but the owner's bidding, and trying to get a delay in the season.
Yeah.
I have no evidence. This is just me shooting off the hip on this, but
yeah,
considering all the bad blood between them, that it does leave for room for this speculation.
Yeah, we're sort of in some murky water here. We're not really sure what could happen, because with the bubbles for the NBA and NHL for the end of, or at least the middle of 2020, when they were figuring things out, everything was like pretty locked on. No one really caught anything, but since they've gotten out of the bubble, there's been like a lot of stuff. So I'm not sure where things are gonna go. If we're gonna get baseball to start on time, what's gonna happen with certain things, like even to go back to the NFL. I believe I was reading something that said teams aren't allowed to get to Tampa until 2 days before the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers are in Tampa. Like, are they not allowed to go back to their own stadium?
Yeah. Well, remember, it's also a victim of time. Back when everyone was bubbling, cases in it were going down, and we're at a small, steady level. Now they're at least 4 or 5 times as worse. So you're definitely going to get cases where you originally didn't, because multiply it times 5, you're going to start getting people.
Yep.
And those bubbles aren't as secure. I think we had it. Circling back to what we opened with President Biden, I believe he said that there's nothing we can really do right now, to paraphrase him, until the vaccine takes full effect. That it's so far out there that containment is not a possibility. That you just have to let it run its course.
Yeah, unless if everyone literally just goes home for an entire month and no one leaves their house for
which,
anything.
which everyone is sick and tired of staying at home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we all did it properly to begin with.
Yeah, but it's kind of late for
yeah.
that.
Oh well, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
But actually, one of the things I had seen, just to, I guess, sort of finish up baseball a little bit, is Brad Hand signed with the Washington Nationals.
Give him a hand.
So he's been one of the best hands.
No response on this? No response?
Well, because I was going to say he's been one of the best hands in baseball for relievers since he was converted several years back from a starter. He did real well with the Padres, did well with Cleveland these last couple of years. Now he's going to go with the Nationals, who are looking to rebound after having a disappointing year after winning it all in 2019. So Nationals are looking to sort of do some damage. They've gotten John Lester pending his physical. See if Kyle Schwarber can rebound his career. Josh Bell, another one of those Pirate guys who's been traded. So we'll see if he can have a bounce back year after having a not so good 2020. But again, only 60 games, small sample size. So Nationals look to, I think, to rebound a little bit. I don't think they're going to get over the Braves or how well the Mets can do in the offseason.
Yeah, so
I think they might be able to fight for a wild card spot, and then once you make that, playoffs are however hot you are.
Yep. We also have one last thing in baseball, and that's something that deals with tomorrow, Tuesday, that on the 26th, if you're looking back, is the announcement of the 2021 Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and why is this important? Well, this is the 9th year for our friends Barry Bonds, George Clemens, Roger Clemens, and Kurt Schilling. Mm-hmm. And you could say, they might, if they don't get it now, that they'll get boosted next year.
Next year is going to be a nice new case of stars.
Well, and you say stars. Have you seen the list for 2021?
I know a couple names, but I haven't seen the unofficial list.
So, let's see. So, the 2022 potential Hall of Fame ballot includes the following newcomers: Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira, Jimmy Rollins,
Ortiz?
Yes, David Ortiz. Thank you. Those four names are going, or at least three of them. We'll see with A-Rod. But three of those four names are going to be on most ballots. And there are also some other notable first-timers, such as Justin Morneau, Prince Fielder, Joe Nathan, and Tim Lincecum, too. Yeah, his name. And Ryan Howard. Some of which will not obviously fall off, but some whose names will take off the ballot on what would be the 10th year for Schilling, Clemens, Bonds, and Sammy Sosa. Sosa is not getting in. He's never gotten any traction. Yeah. But last year, Kurt Schilling fell on 70% of the ballots and just missed by a couple. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds were at 60. Now, why am I mentioning all this? Well, right now, as of today,
I don't think anyone's got the 75, right?
No. This is the first day that I've looked that one player, Kurt Schilling, has gotten 75%. 75.3% to be exact.
Oh, he does.
And right behind him, Barry Bonds is 72.5%, and Roger Clemens has 70%. Now, to be fair, this is publicly known ballots that at similar point Schilling was going to get in last year with Walker and Jeter, and he just fell, I think, 3 ballots off.
Don't mention Jeter again.
Oh yeah,
still salty.
Oh yeah. Also at this time, Jeter was 100%, and that turned out not to be the case.
That jerk.
But it's looking. If we're going to get anyone on this voting ballot, it looks like it's going to be Kurt Schilling. The next player after the three, Scott Rowland, only has 62%. This looks like he's going to get, looks like he and maybe Todd Helton might get in next year, but this year they'll come off as just short.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? Is this going to be the first year since? I think this is the first time since I think 2010, 2011 that we had.
Yeah, there's where no one was there.
Yeah, which is a shame considering the quality of some players like Gary Sheffield, Omar Vizcael, Sammy, aforementioned Sammy Sosa, Andy Pettit.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that I'm always on the mind. You have 10 votes for your Hall of Fame ballot. Put 10 players on it. I know there's some people who say only the deserving go on. We have people like we have Ty Cobb in there who is a known racist. We have Gaylord Perry who admitted to scuffing the ball during games. We have all sorts of rabble rousers. There should be no pretense that the Hall of Fame is this devout place where the best characters of baseball are.
Well, that's sort of like what I was talking about with my coworkers at work, because with social media, not to be too political, bros, but like with everything going on with Donald Trump, like there was a lot of stuff way back when, before social media and the internet and everything. Like if they had that way back when, our founding fathers would not have been as remembered as nicely.
I mean, for a lot of people, they aren't remembered as nicely.
Yeah,
but that's like a whole other
more.
Debate.
But that's a whole other two political bros thing,
which we are absolutely not wading into. So let me rear this around.
I think I don't like that MLB dropped it from 15 guys to 10 guys for the ballot. I think that made that way too more selective. There's a lot of guys that deserve to be on there, and I know the rule is no steroids, no HGH.
But at this
playing, but you know what? Honestly, I don't really care. I want to see some home runs. I want to see a guy throw 106 miles an hour fastball. That's exciting to me.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're using steroids. Yeah. It's your junk. If you want it bigger or smaller, that's up to you.
If you want to be infertile.
But like, I don't care. Put in Clemens. Put in Bonds. Put in Sosa. I want to see Mr. Playoff Andy Pettit in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So
let's go. Let's do this. Let's expand. Let's get rid of this stupid only this many amount of players. Let's just go vote crazy.
Yeah. So in that spirit, I was gonna say I think we did this last year. Our Hall of Fame ballots. My ballot. I have the list up, and I will talk in case you need a second to look.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Kurt Schilling, Barry Bonds, and Roger Clemens. They all deserve. Scott Rowland and Todd Helton also should be in there. Todd Helton, especially as Mr. Rocky. Billy Wagner would be my next. I never really understood why he never got as much traction.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the baseball simulation thing for Out of the Park, and Billy Wagner just like didn't want to get in.
Yeah.
On any of the voting, which was weird.
Yeah. Omar Vizcael, one of the best defensive shortstops of the modern era. Mm-hmm. And good mind. So that is 7 names for me. Andy Pettit's number 8, obviously, since his. Number 9, I don't know why he's so low, but Tori Hunter, one of the best defensive outfielders of the 2000s, a great hitter, and he's right now with the known ballots, he's in danger of being thrown off, which is. I think is a mistake. Committee. Yep, Veterans Committee indeed. And then number 10, I am going with Manny Ramirez.
Okay.
As said, I'm not shunning steroid people, but he is one of the best hitters of the 2000s.
Manny being Manny.
Yeah, big hitter. It's a shame because that means I left Gary Sheffield off the ballot, Sammy Sosa, Jeff Kent. Some guys who should be deserving in there.
Nick Swisher.
Swisher, I don't think is Hall of Fame caliber. Neither are guys like Barry Zito, AJ Burnett, Tim Hudson.
What about Kadire?
Not Kadire either.
Mm.
That they go. But
what about Bobby Abreu?
Yeah, he's another tough one for me to leave off.
I mean, he hit 291 as a career.
And he and Johnny Damon,
over
I think,
2,000 hit, almost 2,500 hits.
Yeah,
under 300 homers,
but he's a very consistent at bat. He and Johnny Damon, I think, were damaged by not being able to reach the 3,000 hits or see regular work in their last years.
Yeah.
That's kind of what killed him. Otherwise, do you have a Hall of Fame ballot?
All right. Well, I guess I got to go with Schilling, Clemens, and Bonds. Those are the top three.
Yeah.
I like Wagner. I go with Manny, 5. I'm big on Jeff Kent, Andy Pettit, Tori Hunter makes 8. Todd Helton, I'll put him at 9.
Did you say Scott Rowland?
I did not yet. And I think I'm going to go with Scott Rowland. Did I say Sammy Sosa?
I don't think so.
Then Sammy Sosa is 10. I'm going to take him over Scott Rowland.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of these guys are going to be in the Hall at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a deep list now, and as I said, looking at 2022, A-Rod is his own case, so I won't talk about him. But and Ortiz kind of gets grouped into that, but Ortiz, I believe, is a Hall of Famer. Mark Teixeira, I believe, is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Rollins, I have strong, I believe, is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Did he win it with the Phillies?
Yes, he did, and he won an MVP as well. Some of the other guys I don't, but guys like AJ Przinsky and Ryan Howard will siphon some votes away, and which is, as I said, it's a very crowded ballot at the moment.
Yeah. Now, in a few years, would you vote Bartolo Colon?
Probably not. Remember, he missed a huge chunk of his career in the middle. And he'd get it for longevity, but I don't think so.
I like Big Sexy.
Yeah.
Just that home run alone should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And then the looking ahead 1 year after that to that's football. 2023, some of our newcomers there, just to add how crowded it gets later on. We have K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, and Carlos Beltran. I guess this one is not as crowded. Those are the only two that are potential, and there could be cases to knock both of them.
Yeah.
So we might have some respite for a few years, but still a very crowded field between them.
Well, you know what else is crowded?
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, as we're starting to be pressed for time, what do we got from the Nets?
Well, the Nets did not win their first game with their big three. They did finally manage to win a game, but there's now talks with Kyrie and Harden not apparently getting along or something like that, or not being able to coexist as nice. So,
I am surprised not.
So I don't know about that. I was going to say Channing Tatum. Jason Tatum.
No, that's only for the feature film.
Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics, has been out due to COVID protocols. And the Celtics have been missing him big time because they went on a 3-game losing streak, losing first place back to the 76ers, who are doing very well. But the Celtics have just not been able to find themselves this year. They start winning and then they lose a bunch, and they haven't been able to find their defense that they wanted to. Offensively, they came out super flat the other game. I think only scoring 77 points, which is ridiculous. So Tatum's looking to come back tonight, but Jaylen Brown in the absence has seemed to take over everything. Last night, he scored 33 points in 19 minutes of playing. which is an NBA record apparently, which caught the attention of one of the greatest players, Bill Russell, Mr. Celtic himself. And he doesn't really talk much about the Celtics anymore. So for him to mention this, it's a big, big honor for Jaylen Brown, as there was possible talks of maybe using him as a trade chip for maybe James Harden or some other players. But I think the Celtics now have to lock him into a good deal like they did with Tatum, and go on from there. But they got to find some better defense and get the offense running a little bit better. I know Kemba Walker, it's not quite there, but we're going to see some stuff.
And there's also talk that there could be an NBA All-Star game in March.
Because they only have the first half of the season planned out, and then depending on how many games get canceled, because there have been games canceled so far and postponed.
There's actually one tonight. The Pelicans and the Spurs. Tonight's game has been canceled because so many players on both sides have been caught up in contact tracing. Neither side has the 8 available players to play today because the rest are caught in contact tracing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that there is a last minute case. It's that they physically could not. Neither team couldn't field the team.
Yep.
But
apparently, the Miami Heat are using coronavirus sniffing dogs. So apparently that's a thing now.
Yeah.
I did not know that was a thing. I know dogs can sniff for certain things like blood sugars and other things, but I didn't know you can smell the coronavirus.
Man's best friend. You've heard stories like dolphins that sense a woman has cancer. All that. Animals are special little creatures, which is why
evolution didn't give us this.
which is why I constantly on loops watch the video of a manatee pressing it, running into a glass window, and the noise being replaced by a clown honk noise.
So NBA, that might be a thing. The NHL, they're getting viruses. The Capitals sort of had a bit of an issue. So captain Alex Ovechkin and a couple other players, I think their starting goalkeeper, they're all sort of like not allowed to play for the next 4 games, which might not seem like anything crazy, but when you consider that Alex Ovechkin is 100 or so goals, whatever it is, behind the great one Wayne Gretzky for most goals all time, it looked like he might be on track to break that. But by losing the last 12 games of last year and losing 4 games now and having a shorter season this year, he's basically missing half a season's worth of playing. That's a good 15, 20 goals maybe that he's not going to be able to score right now, and that he's got to make up while Father Time's trying to go against him. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, if that's really gonna, if Ovechkin's now going to get to pass Gretzky. So time's crunching now.
Yeah.
That's a big interesting thing. The Rangers have been blowing games against Pittsburgh, having the lead going into the third period the last 2 games and blowing both of those. So I'm not sure what's going on with them.
We also have a suspension. Former Arizona Coyotes general manager John Chackey has been suspended through the end of 2021 after he tried to resign from his position to take an offer from what people think to be the parent company of the New Jersey Devils and 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers, which I also didn't realize he's only 31, and he was the GM of a pro sports team.
Oh wow, that's
what are we doing with our lives?
That's like Theo Epstein.
That's not even Theo Epstein. That's John Daniels, the GM of the Rangers. I think he was in his late 20s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's see, John Daniels. At age 28, the youngest general manager in Major League Baseball. And
clearly we picked the wrong path.
Yeah, what did we do wrong?
We didn't go to his college. But also in the NHL news, former Hockey Hall of Famer from the Toronto Maple Leafs, George Armstrong, dies at 90. He helped the Maple Leafs get to help him win 4 Stanley Cups in the 60s. So he finished with 296 goals, 417 assists over a whopping 21 seasons. So hockey world got a big loss there. But I think that just about wraps it up with everything else. I think we've covered everything. I guess NASCAR's coming back in a couple of weeks.
We've been going for an hour. I think NASCAR can wait for one more.
No, I'm saying it's another couple of weeks, but we don't care about that right now.
Yep. We'll probably have baseball stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Bauer could sign in the next week. That with the talk that it's down to a couple teams, that it seems like stuff's moving.
Well, let's check the internet real quick.
I just did. Nope, we're good.
Nope. All right. Well, if it happens while I'm editing the video,
we'll come back on.
Yeah.
Right. It's been a pleasure, Joe, as always.
Yes, it has. Wash your hands, wear your masks, do the hokey pokey. I don't know.
That's what it's all about. See you guys next week.
All right. Bye.